sex robots will change everything. I think that's
what it's trying to say.
What? What the fuck?
We should be sympathetic towards a character that isn't alive, that isn't real or alive. This would be kind of like a wolf was the main character and we sympathized with the wolf. That's what... Hello and welcome to the Brothers Random Show. My name is Travis.
I'm Michael.
And we are two ordinary brothers discussing extraordinary ideas and some random shit. Michael, why are we here?
Today we are talking about Companion, a film that was just released on HBO Max.
There have been two moments in my life when I was happiest. The first was the day I met Josh.
I'm Josh.
I'm Iris. And the second, the day I killed him.
We're going to get into spoilers pretty quickly, but we're going to first go over initial thoughts and IMDb if you want to go with that.
Yeah, we'll lead with that. The IMDb summary is a weekend getaway with friends at a remote cabin turns into chaos after it's revealed that one of the guests is not what they seem. It is directed by Drew Hancock. It is also written by Drew Hancock and stars Sophie, Thatcher, and Jack Quaid. And you might remember Sophie Thatcher. We did a couple weeks ago. We did a review of Heretic. She's one of the leads in that. She's kind of an up-and-coming actress. She was known for Yellow Jackets on TV. She's got a good career ahead of her, I think. She does a really great job in this. Your overall thoughts?
Yeah, so there's a few twists and turns in this film. I felt like it was entertaining. It kept me engaged. I wanted to know more about what was happening. I feel like it speaks to a future possibly not too distant that we're all kind of wondering if this is what it's going to be like. And I think it's on a lot of people's minds, and I think it did a good job of kind of touching on that in an entertaining way.
Are you not entertained?
I made the mistake of seeing the trailer before watching this movie, and I shouldn't have.
Nice.
So if you are interested in seeing this movie, it just debuted on HBO Max. I would watch it without seeing the trailer. Go in blind because it's a much more pleasant experience, I'm sure. The film I was entertained by, but I would actually say I didn't like it as much as I wanted to like it, I think is the best way to put it. We are going to be comparing this probably to Ex Machina, which came out in 2015. We did a review on that. That's episode 28. The review is quite old. It's about 2 years old at this point. That movie, we talked a lot about ChatGPT because ChatGPT had just come out. There's going to be a lot of overlap, a lot of similarities. If you're interested, go check that one out. But you should probably watch the movie before you listen to this. I guess we should get into spoilers. Spoilers now.
It's not too far into the film you find out that she's a robot.
And the thing is that it's played up that you're not supposed to know for until a certain point in the movie.
Although I'm assuming I didn't watch the trailer, but I'm assuming in the trailer it gives that away.
It gives it away. Yeah.
I knew that she was at some point going to be a robot. I mean, something that you had said when you said we were going to talk about it.
Maybe
I can't remember what it's. It was fine. I figured, I mean, it's called Companion.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right. So I actually thought she was going to die and then he was going to like bring her back as a robot or something like that. So I was kind of looking for that. The twist to me was the gay friends.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, obviously we're spoiler territory because I actually was like, oh, interesting, because it made sense once they said it, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was the twist that I didn't see coming. Was Patrick being a robot too? That was interesting. That was a fun twist to have.
Mm-hmm.
So about what would you say about maybe halfway into the movie?
Was that?
That would revealed So they had a major character that you didn't know was a robot that was revealed as a robot. And then one of the other things that I wasn't expecting was that they had made this plan, Josh and his friend Kat, played by Megan Suri. They made a plot, they did a thing to try to kill this Russian, what seemed like a Russian oligarch, and take his money. And that's the whole, like, that's the reason that they program the companion, the Sophie Thatcher character, Iris. They program her to kill him. And the thing is that I didn't see that coming. I didn't know why she killed him, but then they revealed that they had planned it all along. So immediately these people become really terrible. Within a couple of minutes, or probably first 20 minutes of the movie, you realize they put her up to it as a robot. And then you also realize that they're terrible people. And this is one of the issues I have with this movie is there's no good humans. They're all terrible. And what is this movie trying to say about humanity in general? Like that we're all terrible, and the only thing that's gonna save us is an AI that has a sense of morality.
Well, we've talked about AI sex robots
yes.
coming, and I think what this is showing is that sex robots will have the opportunity to completely change our culture. And I think that's what it was showing.
But it's already happening. Our
Sure.
entire culture has shifted, and psychopathy has increased in our culture.
Yeah, and I think it will continue that. I think that's what it was showing. That it seemed to me that there was like a little bit of sexual tension between Josh and Kat.
Yeah,
the characters that are
that planned
plotting
this whole
to kill
the
Russian.
Russian.
When they're confronted on it, they're like, "Ew, no!" Right? This is just. I think it was showing. I think that they did this on purpose to kind of show so many relationships, human relationships, had just divulged to not be sexual with each other.
They're
Two
sexual.
of the three relationships were with robot relationships. I'm just saying that the gorge between the two sexes gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yes.
When sex robots come in
and make everything easier for people to not come together. You know, religions always do this thing where the end of the world is going to be cataclysmic. It's going to be like the nuclear holocaust or whatever you want to call it. And I'm starting to think that we just kill ourselves off by not procreating anymore.
It dies with a whimper.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
Yeah, it dies with a whimper.
Negative population.
If men are going to go find sex robots to fuck, essentially, and women are going to play the field endlessly, there's no moment where people are procreating anymore, and
they'll only be going for foreign millionaires.
Yeah, foreign millionaires.
I mean,
and not even procreating with them. It's just they're just fulfilling a need.
Yep. Okay, so by far my favorite part is the human girl Kat talking to Iris, and she basically describes herself. Kat is talking about her relationship with this Russian.
Is his name Sergey?
Sergey, yeah.
Sergey, played by Rupert Friend. But go ahead.
Well, she's describing her relationship with him, and she is basically a robot.
Yeah.
And so she looks at this robot and she's like, you make me nervous that I might be replaced. And I was like, whoa. See, I think they could have played a little bit more on that. But
yeah,
it was it was fitting, and it was a great conversation. They didn't touch on it
so
again.
this is what's happening now. Okay, this is crazy. This is just crazy to think about. And they put it into a movie, and I'm not sure if I like it or if it's pointing something. It's pointing out all the problems, but none of the solutions. Right. So the rich men get to have the real women, but the real women are still robots.
Basically just showing up, and as she says, she basically just does what he wants her to do.
Yeah, because he's rich, because he's going
really good for him, and she and they have sex when when he wants to have sex.
Yeah,
and
it's the same thing for the robot.
Everything.
It's the same thing for the robot. The robot is doing it for a poor dude, like a schlubby dude. So it's I don't know what it says about it. What's it trying to say about sexual relationships? Is it saying that all of them are doomed to
sex robots will change everything? I think that's
what it's trying to say.
I don't know.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
Because
you don't see any kids in the whole film.
So families are not even thought of, right?
Now, I mean, that could be reasons for that, but like But
this is the same. This is what a hedonistic society produces. So Kat's goal is money.
Mm-hmm.
Josh's goal, the Jack Quaid's character, his goal is also to get money, but he also created a relationship with this robot. And that's why he gets into trouble, is because he's trying to say goodbye to the robot before he shuts her down. And that's where she realizes what's happening. And that's where this whole movie kind of gears into overdrive. And then the whole point that I'm trying to get at with this is that this is already happening. We're already kind of going in this direction when 2% of women of a certain age have created OnlyFans content, right? So Kat is concerned about money, and Josh is concerned about companionship. And those are the two goals of the two so Josh and Kat represent two sides of the sexes in our current situation, in our current time.
There's only 4 real humans in the film. No children. We don't see any children. It's a dystopia that's not really a dystopia, but at the same time, it is kind of painting a picture. The two people you think are having sexual tension have never had sex. They're the most likely you would think would have like a relationship or had a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
They're like friends, but apparently they never had a relationship.
All the characters in this feel like they represent like aspects of our current society. What's crazy is that the one positive relationship in the whole thing is 2 gay guys, and one of them's a robot. And it's not even like,
as you find out. Yeah.
And it's the only relationship that may actually be true love, like truly a loving relationship. And then the Kat character and the Josh character kind of represent relationships that are currently going on with most men and women. I mean, there's a recent statistic put out that most men are becoming more right wing in the United States, and most women are becoming more left wing. And so there's this gap in political views. Give me the statistic again about the childless women.
Yeah, by 2030, 45% of women aged 25 to 45 will be childless and single.
Damn!
And that isn't good for society in general. So this feels like a movie, like a warning, almost like a warning that there are bad things coming around for us, and they're only going to get worse. I don't know whether to be offended that they're trying to make you sympathetic towards a non-living entity, which is the robot.
Well, and I also don't like that it leans very misogynistic.
Oh yes, because he's kind of a piece of shit.
Well, and it's a call out to
most men that are like this.
Well,
right?
to like the fifth, like the feminists cry out against like the 50s of
the
women
docile
have to stay
wife.
home,
Yeah.
docile wife
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Men don't want their women to be intelligent, and he's got her
and he's
intelligence,
got her intelligence level at like
40% or something.
It's like
and it's playing on all these tropes of the patriarchy, like keeping women down and stuff like that. Even though she's a robot.
Offensive. Yeah, she's a robot. So we need to keep that in mind.
The thing is like, this was kind of the same with like Ex Machina. Ex Machina was like trying to play this game with your sympathies by making the robot look human. And this is the same with this film. The robot looks human, but audience, don't forget, it is a robot.
It's not alive.
Like, for real, let's remember the robot is not a living thing. And it baffles me that the film plays with your sympathies. You want the robot to win. You want the robot to get away.
It did the same thing in Ex Machina, but the thing about Ex Machina is that it didn't do it triumphantly. It did it like, holy shit, this could happen. Like, it wasn't a triumph.
Like, it had a creep factor in it.
Yes, there was a creepy factor that she kills 2 of the humans and then leaves. Okay. And we already said spoilers for Ex Machina. It's a better film. Thing about this movie, it's triumphant. Like, she wins and you are like, yes, that woman killed all those humans. That's what we're rooting for. We're rooting for the robot to kill the humans. It's like, what? Like, that's what's so upsetting about this movie. It does play up the misogyny of our current day society, or what is perceived as misogyny in our current day society.
Stop it. Get some help.
It's also playing up the idea that we should be sympathetic towards a character that isn't alive, that isn't real or alive. This would be kind of like a wolf was the main character, realized it could wipe out a bunch of humans, and we sympathized with the wolf. That's what this movie's like.
Yeah, no, I would say think of it more like, if you do bad things to things that look like humans, I'm going to say you're going to turn out a shitty person.
Yeah.
So let me say that.
But the internet is causing psychopathy. It is actually bringing up psychopathy.
Exactly.
In human beings.
So if you've got sex robots out there and guys, I liked the script in this film, because there were several times where someone just throws out a comment where you kind of get an idea of like where society's at. One of the workers that, like, a robot tech, comes out and he makes a comment. He's like, dude, I don't know. Why do people burn them? Why do they blow them up? Why do they cut them up? Why do they why do they torture them? Yeah. Why do they put them in the basement and torture them? Like, mind blown that people would put a human looking and human acting robot in their basement and torture it. Like, are you fucking kidding me? So yes, it would just, yes, it's a robot. One, but two, are you becoming a monster? Are you allowing yourself to become a monster by treating a robot like shit? It's a weird, this is going to be within
the
probably
morality,
our lifetime.
Yeah. The morality question of our life. Like, it'll be what constitutes morality, because there's going to be those people that mistreat their robots. And then there's going to be those people that go, why are you mistreating something that looks like a human being, then acts like a human being? Like, why do you have that need in you to mistreat that? Well,
and it's like, are we going to make laws that I can't break my phone?
Yeah.
Are we going to have laws that I can't break my robot? Right now, my guess is they'll be expensive enough that people won't do that. But it just, there's going to be philosophical problems that we cross into when this stuff starts to come up, that I think is great for these films to address, I wanted to say when you said it's like a wolf that might, I would say a better thought process would be like if your phone got up and attacked a human, and or somebody, let's say, because in the film Sergey looks like he's a pretty shitty person, seems like. He tries to grape the main character and Iris, and
she defends herself and
kills him. So now one is like, I mean, that's a really shitty dude that's trying to
even though in the back of his head he knows that she's a robot, but that says that you're a shitty person if in the back of your head you know that's a robot, and you also know that if it's an AI system that is actually learning and it can actually experience pain. So if the AI can experience pain, what kind of person are you by inflicting pain on the AI? So these are questions that like Westworld was, when it was on HBO, was talking about. These are philosophical questions that people often, that has already been covered. But the reason this movie's interesting is because it paints a world where the incels like Jack Quaid's character, Josh, get what they want. And by getting that,
is he a shittier person?
Is he a shittier person because he gets what he wants? Because, okay, so one of the brilliant things that this movie does is like so she's trying to talk to him and connect with him after they've had sex. And he just says, "Go to sleep, Iris." That shuts her off. But she's trying to connect with him like, "Oh, I'm so glad that," and this is kind of where the misogyny comes in, because she's doing everything she can to be as good to him as she is, and he's shitty to her, and it makes a response in us. It makes us forget that she's a robot. It actually makes us go, well, he's a shitty, like, because he rolled over and says, "Go to sleep, Iris." And she's gonna talk to him and have this moment with him. And he says, "Go to sleep, Iris." And it's a command, so she shuts off when that happens. But the crazy thing that I found myself going, "Oh man, he's such a dick. Wait a second, she's a robot. Why would I like?" It does this with your mind.
It's really tough. I think it's going to do things to men's minds, kind of like corn. It'll give false brain cues, being the cool dude that has a
good looking wife and
good looking
kind of
girlfriend wife.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a great thing to bring up. So what you're saying is like, okay, men, their self-esteem is built by an attractive woman thinking or acting really great towards the man. All right.
Yeah. They're man.
It builds him up.
I've got a great woman, and it gives them status within.
It gives them status within their
circle,
own
that
circle.
They've got a hot
so
wife.
If this is a false cues, they're false cues. So if you can buy a woman that looks, or a robot that looks great and looks like a real human and acts like a real human, and she's obsessed with you, this builds up the man's ego, builds him up. And so it's a false sense of accomplishment.
Oh, what a loser. Good.
Yeah. Because you find out later that Jack Quaid's character is a loser. Like, he has a 1-bedroom apartment. He's not achieving anything in life. He doesn't have status or money. I mean, they even offhandedly say that she's a rental. Like, he rented her. Yeah. And his whole plan was to rent her to kill this Russian oligarch.
So he could get money.
So he
wanted to get money from him.
He wanted to do it this what's crazy. Then you find out that the Russian guy
he's not Russian mafia.
He's not Russian mafia. He made his money by working hard.
Yeah, it is insane. The girl's just Kat, who wanted him dead so she could get his money. She's like, he was a shitty boyfriend, but he wasn't Russian mafia. He made his money He
And then
even
she
says
said
he's
something
like
about
he was a salesman or something like that.
yeah, something like that. He was just and it's like,
And
oh
he
my
paid,
gosh.
and he had all of that, right? Because he worked hard. And I mean, yeah, okay. So it shows that it's so bizarre. It's like, is he a shitty person because he was going to grape a robot?
A robot?
I mean, it's shitty, but I mean,
Well,
how shitty is it if I like what, I don't know, misused your cell phone? I'm sorry, but then it's bad if your cell phone looks like a person. I mean,
well, they said, like I read somewhere, that if you mistreat anything with the face, it does something to your psychology.
Probably yeah. I mean,
if you mistreat something with a face, because I mean, like dogs and cows, and they all cry. They have tear ducts. And most of that's just to keep their eyes clean. But when they're in pain, you can actually see tears come out from their eyes. I've seen cows do that. On the ranch when we were working cows, and we had to do something that was a little painful to the cow. There would be tears coming from their eyes.
It's like one of those things where one of those tropes of if you hurt animals as a kid for fun,
then you become a psychopath.
Psychopath, right?
So it's something similar here, because everybody's kind of a psychopath. Because this movie kind of offhandedly makes jokes throughout. So it is a fairly funny movie. It like has quippy jokes, and the more you realize that these people are terrible, the more they don't have like a really good response to death. Like if you found out somebody had been killed by a robot, you would just freak out. And all these people are just kind of really calm about it and making jokes. Like even the two gay guys, they're still making jokes after realizing that this robot killed somebody. I mean, it's like, well, hold on a second. Like, what does this say about everybody's psychopathy in this house?
It makes you wonder if the sex robots will come out. Society's kind of like the internet brought society's psychopathy levels
up to one point. And then when we get the sex robots, it's going to even bring
it up to a higher point. Even raise our psychopathy levels even more? It's going to be an interesting time. Now, that being said, someone said to me that they didn't think that if the sex robots came, that many men will, exit out of the dating market due to the sex robots. I don't know, but my guess is probably at least 30% of men would just completely.
Well, we're already in a position of only 20% of men have access to 80% of the women.
It's not that cut and dry, but sure.
Well, but if we're even close to that, then that means that 80% of men are going to go for the sex robots.
If that's the case, oh shoot.
Because that's what's interesting about this movie. It's already playing into that. So the rich Russian has a real girl. The real girl feels like she's a robot. The poor schlubby guy, the Jack Quaid characters, watching a lot of porn, playing a lot of video games. They even mentioned that he plays a bunch of video games, right? So they're basically pointing this out, that his apartment is kind of a mess, and he's not really taking care of himself and that kind of thing. And then the rich oligarch, he's also doing horrible because he's basically renting a real woman for money. Like he's basically telling her, and she seems to be completely fine that he has a wife, or at least she talks about it nonchalantly. And then later they both throw morality at each other later in the movie, because they're arguing about their plot, how their plot didn't go the way as planned. And Kat is like, oh, he didn't he didn't treat his wife well, and he certainly didn't treat his girlfriend well, and is like, but I want his money. So who's really the evil person here? I mean, really, like, she gave up like morality to get his money, right? It's an entertaining movie, but it's also, when you like apply it to society, it's very depressing. It's a depressing movie. You're just sitting there going, holy crap, the only good people in this entire movie is a artificial intelligent robot. You have to stretch credulity a lot for this movie, and even movies more that are like this, because who gave her morality? It's got to be programmed into her, right?
Yeah, sure. It's one of those things where like he's giving her commands and she's fighting against it. It's pointing to the idea that there's some actual like
Ghost in the
spirit, ghost in the, that there's some actual intelligence in there, not just programming. I don't think that is actually going to be a real thing. Robots aren't actually going to feel. They're not actually going to be sentient. They're going to be programs, and programs that will act very human-like. They'll be very convincing. That's what I'm saying. They'll be very convincing, but I don't think they're ever going to really get to the point where they truly do feel pain and truly are sentient. I don't think that's ever really going to happen.
It's all going to be wrong programming.
I mean,
well, Chat GPT, isn't that like they're finding weird things? Like, it's, what was it? Somebody
it'll
was
lie.
saying,
It'll lie.
It'll lie. Like, what would be the point to it trying to lie?
Information. Yeah. So they've found a few things where they're just like,
that's not.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because they're not programmed to lie. So it learned somehow to not tell the truth, right? So again, it goes back to the ghost in the machine, the Deus ex machina. It's like the God in the machine. What is happening when that happens?
Mm-hmm.
Because we've already seen it with Chat GPT. It is lying. Like, how did it learn to lie? We're imperfect creatures that have created something imperfect.
Yeah. I'm not super worried about the efficacy of robots that are going to start hitting the market and they'll be like slaves. I'm not as much worried about that as what I think it'll do to humans, because I think it fucks us up. I think
it's already doing it. We have so much.
Sure.
So since social media, they did a study or something like that, and there's a steady rise in psychopathy in most young people, and it continues to rise every year. Because if you're only thinking about the way you look to other people, that's your concern, rather than helping other people, creating something to help people or something like that. You're just only concerned about how you look to other people, and that's a massive problem for society in general.
Yep. I loved the little tidbits in the script about how the society is viewing this world, is viewing this rise in robots, because they had some like slurs, like names, and I just thought it was fitting, because obviously there were pros and cons, like people who were against it, and people who would like made these slurs and names for it. And then I forget his name, but the gay character is talking to his robot, and he's talking about how he's like, screw my dad, I'm in love with the robot. Right. So obviously his dad had problems with his son being in a relationship with a robot. There were just little things like that. His friends were about to call his robot something, and he's like, what are you doing? Don't say that. Don't call him that, kind of thing. I felt like it was pretty interesting how it did that, how it made them, it showed you a little bit of the culture. How does this affect the culture, and how do people talk about this?
Yeah. And it keeps revealing things. That's what I kind of liked about it. I would have enjoyed it more had I not seen the trailer, I think, because it would have revealed that she was a robot. Then it would have revealed that they had this plot to kill a guy. Then it would have revealed the other robot was involved in all of this. And, you know, there's some stretches here because she convinces somehow one robot to another robot. She convinces the Patrick robot to off himself. And it's like, I don't really know how, like, if he had all those markers. Again, they're trying to play on the ghost in the shell, the God in the machine. Like they're trying they're trying to put in that there's this little thing inside this machine that has its own
identity.
Yeah. And like you said, I don't think that's gonna happen like we think it's gonna happen. But then when we say that, then how is ChatGPT lying? Because it found a way to lie and it's lying.
I mean, that is a fair point. It's like, do we know exactly how this is going to work? Like, do we know how this is going to play out?
And it's wild that more and more of these movies keep coming out. I think there was one with Megan Fox. I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was kind of dumb. Yeah, I watched it just because Megan Fox was in it.
As did everybody else. And Westworld was a show for, I think, 5 or 6 seasons. It delved into this stuff. There's a lot of problems online right now that this movie points out. And it's weird that it made you sympathize with the character that's not alive. Like, she's killing other human beings, like killing them. And you're just going, we should not be sympathizing with this, with a machine, with a robot.
And it gets to the end where obviously spoilers, but she gets away in Sergei's old car that's not, locked and everything. It's gold gasoline car.
Yeah, gasoline car. Yeah.
She gets away in it, and you see her hand is
robot arm. Yeah.
All skin is off, and she is passing another car with another version of her in it. And
the dude is obviously yelling at her and mistreating her.
I don't think her, and so she realizes that she's a robot.
Yeah.
When she waves at her. So it's going to be,
I don't think I can like this movie just solely based on the idea that every male character is painted as this misogynistic piece of shit. And the internet is making these people. Like we are in a society right now that has these people in them. They're pieces of shit. They're going to treat other people as pieces of shit.
Even Kat it paints Kat as being a piece of shit too.
Yes.
Like, it ultimately she's just like, he was a shitty boyfriend. But he wasn't really a mobster, and it's just like, whoa.
Well, does that mean he deserved to die? It's like,
well, she wanted his money. She wanted him to be dead and gone and take his money. It's just it. So, she wasn't great either, but it really did play on this kind of like patriarchy and keeping the woman down. It was kind of a throwback to that.
Well, and it's kind of has this metaphorical like bad relationship underlining theme to it too, like like you said, like a 1950s husband who has a docile wife that doesn't have any opinions and tries to make a connection with him, and he tells her to go to sleep and that kind of stuff.
And
the thing is that most men aren't like that. A lot of men just want a connection with women. But it's almost like women have been taught to think that men only want one thing.
Men only want one thing, and it's not money, it's not power, it's not love. It's a cool cloak.
The Jack Quaid character is obviously built as an incel. He's made to look like somebody who couldn't get a girl on his own, so he buys a girl, essentially, or rents a girl. And the problem with that is that it makes men like that look like that's all they want, is a girl to have sex with and to boss around. But most men would say, no, I want, it's funny that it's called companion. Most men want a companion.
Yeah.
But they also don't want a companion who's at odds with them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems to be the whole like theme of modern feminism, is you stay at odds with him as much as possible. It's like, well, wait a second. I thought we were kind of a team in this life. Why would I stay at odds with you, constantly?
Yeah. For heaven forbid a woman should need a man. Like, definitely not that.
Definitely
right?
not that. Yeah.
But like, I mean, we need each other, obviously.
Yeah. To perpetuate
child rates or baby rates are down.
To perpetuate the species.
End of the species. That's why I wonder if sex robots really is the nail in the coffin for the human species.
For the human species. I think it is. I think it's going to be.
Might be.
Because it's already happening.
Be, guys. It might be game over at that point. It could, within our lifetime, we could see the advent and then literally the outlawing of.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, but who the hell knows? But that would be interesting, man. If in 50 years they literally they get rid of pornography and they get rid of sex robots because
nobody's procreating.
Nobody's procreating, and it's just like, we're not having kids, so get rid of these things, outlaw them. I don't know. We'll see.
But then you've got a bunch of men who don't have any release. Do they become violent?
Oh, Chris Williamson's sedation theory.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, boy.
The sedation theory being that most societies who have a large population of men who do not have access to women will become criminal. But that's not happening. And the theory goes that it's because they are being sedated by pornography and by video games. So they're getting all their cues of success by fake outlets. And so they're not joining gangs. They're not going and
they're not even going out of the house.
Yeah. And they're not robbing, they're not out there robbing grocery stores and banks and stuff. Right. So that aggression is being sedated in a
false
fake
world. False.
Yeah. Fake. Now that being said, obviously it's good that we don't have a bunch of men running around committing crimes, but it's also not good that they're not out there pursuing some kind of status so that they can have access to women. I'm just saying that gets worse when the sex robots come. That gets worse.
It's a tangle. It's a real tanglement that I don't know if we can really get ourselves out of. Before we go, I was going to compare this to Ex Machina a little bit. I liked Ex Machina more than this movie, and I'm not sure why.
Better filming, better script, better twist. I would just kind of say all of those things. Better made, just generally, but better made is what I would probably say.
Well, and it doesn't make every character out to be evil. You empathize. I had a hard time empathizing with anybody but the robot, because I'm not.
Yeah, and I think they did that on purpose, but
probably, yeah.
You had a little bit more empathy for the main character in Ex Machina.
In Ex Machina, was it Jacob?
Mm-hmm.
I had more empathy for him in that movie, but Josh in this movie is a complete creep and bastard. and so is Kat, and so is Patrick, and so is everyone else in the movie, and that must be intentional because they want you to completely and utterly sympathize with the robot.
No, I'm sure we'll be talking more about this. This will keep
popping up. The themes of this movie. There are so many movies out there about this stuff right now. Like Megan is another one that's about,
robot kid.
And
yep.
There's so many things. I think it's on our brains. Chat GPT made everybody kind of go, whoa, but Ex Machina was made 10 years ago, and it still holds up. Mm-hmm. And it's a better made film. I think it's just because the characters are more likable.
Yeah.
Check us out on social media, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just look for The Sword in the Skull.
If you liked this, you're the audience we are looking for.
In the meantime, keep reading, keep listening, keep watching, learn more. We'll see you, brother.
See ya.
There you go, son. Now get out of here. You're bothering.